So these entertainment streets have been very interesting as of late. Women has been dominating all over the place. There has been a handful of women. One is Cooking with Kaya, and I think she has brought femininity back to women in the sense of them showing that they can actually cook and enjoy themselves while doing it. Some women are picking up on the trend and copying her. Other people are mocking her. But she's not a topic of this particular conversation. I'm going to do a separate video on her. But that's just one woman, an example who made it to the bag in a legit way, not selling her body or in any way, shape, or form like that. However, though, the two women in the conversation we're going to be talking about today is Phillips and Danae Davis. Now, both of them are attractive women. Now, when you first come across Phillips, you wouldn't have thought that she would be the woman that was trying to have relations with 101 men in 24 hours. And she successfully did so. Excuse me. It was 100 men in 24 hours. And she broke her goal by one man. Now, it turns out she's now trying to go for a record of 1,000 men who was previously held by somebody else. But we'll get into that in a moment. When you first come across Phillips, this is her first TikTok that I found of her. It was just her of doing some lip syncing and stuff like that. This basically TikTok girl stuff, having over 100,000 subscribers and getting a little bit of money for that because all her videos have well over 1 million views. So clearly she was getting paid. However, that wasn't enough for her, so she chose to go into a realm of adult entertainment and going into OF and then doing the whole entire viral thing of her sleeping with 100 men in one day. Now, personal choices aside, I do think that is a pretty disgusting act to do, in my personal opinion. I don't understand why somebody would choose to do that when she had the looks and the personality to make money in other ways. But that's not my choice. That's not my life, whatever. But my main question is, it's not even a question, my main statement about this is that she's setting an example for younger girls to, instead of using her degree, which she did graduate from university, so she does have a degree. She has wealthy parents, apparently. And, you know, people assume when you have wealthy parents, you think you're going to be doing well in life and they gave you every single opportunity. But a lot of dark things happen when it comes to wealthy families and the quote-unquote opportunities to give to their kids. So let's go into the whole entire viral thing that went on right now with her having a breakdown.
I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember. And that's it.
Now, I remember everybody was saying that she was having regret whenever she was talking about this and she cried. But whenever I was listening to the whole entire situation, she had more regret, not necessarily of the actions that she did, but how she wasn't able to satisfy the man who waited there for a long time to have a turn with her.
But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know? But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
When I decided to start making this documentary, I wasn't too sure of what to expect. I certainly didn't expect to see Lily so upset at the end of it all.
I think sometimes...
But when she was upset, again, it was because of how she wasn't able to make the men feel more welcome. So she still has that sense of she wants to have a connection with the person she's being with, not necessarily just using them as a number. And I think she's struggling with that internally because I think a part of her feels like that's wrong what she's doing. And again, when you grow up in a wealthy family, supposing that's what they're saying online, And you have this image that you had of yourself, and you're pretty much destroying that image. Nobody's really going to look at her as that attractive, unattainable, quote unquote, TikTok, Instagram girl that, you know, wore bikinis and nice outfits and did lip syncs and all this other kind of stuff. They're just going to see her as a person now that's just, you know, pay for play and not even pay for the most part. Now, here's the other interesting thing about that supposedly they said that she has gained over $2 million from this because she has like an extra $36,000 subscribers, Sir OF, which has garnered her so far about $2 million. I would think it would be more. And truthfully, if my thinking is that if you're a woman, you did something like that, you would break it up as to many clips and behind the scenes and stuff like that as possible to maximize the profit so you won't have to ever do anything like that again. But that isn't the case in her situation. It turns out for her, it's just, it made her want to do a larger goal of 1,000 to break a world record. Now, I didn't know there was a world record for having relations with men in one day, right? I had no idea. So I looked into it. So then there was a woman named Lisa Sparks that broke the record in 2004. And again, I didn't know there was a record for this. And apparently it used to be an annual thing. But I kind of wish that these OG SA workers, these OGS workers would sit here and talk to the young girls about what they're getting into and what they could potentially regret about the situation. So I want to take myself off of here and so we can see this full thing. I wasn't able to find too many interviews about her, Ms. Sparks, because I was thinking, you know what, if she broke a world record, she's got to be talking about it and all this other kind of stuff. Not the thing. The only thing I saw about this is an article from like 10 years ago. And it says, to be completely transparent with you, this event is the one thing I regret doing my 21 plus years in the P industry to this day. This was the only job I agreed to perform strictly for money. Don't get me wrong, I love GB, and I've done most of them with all my fans. However, this event was never anything I planned on, and the entire event was completely a SHIT show. So when we go back to Lily, and you're thinking, okay, you're already having a conflicting thing with inside your body, right? Well, I mean inside your body, not necessarily your physical body, but inside your body in the sense of your spirit. How you still want to connect with men when you're having relationships with them, compared to the part of you know it's just business, you need to get them moving on because you don't want them to feel bad or their time wasted, or it shows you still have a good aspect of yourself. You don't want them to feel used, and you don't want necessarily to feel used. That's what I'm gathering from that situation. Does that lead to regret? It doesn't seem so. It just seems that you're making a choice of what person you're going to be and realizing you can't go back to that old person you was before.
So you might know me as the girl who's been with 101 guys in a day.
After the situation, right? Because she has another TikTok. She has a couple of them. And this one she's kind of discussing of how she wants to continue forward and trying to recruit more men to go ahead and be a part of her adventure. And also her announcing that today on December 15th, that she's going to go ahead and try to train, quote unquote, and asking for 300 men.
Now, I'm currently in training to do 1,000 guys in a day, and on the 15th December, I shall be taking on 300 guys in a day, which is the most amount of guys I've ever done. And so it's going to be hard, but in comparison to the 1,000, this should be light work. If you want to be involved in breaking a world record and you're in Vegas end of January, please head on over to my Twitter, because I'm going to try and take on 1,000 guys all in 24 hours, and I really want you to be a part of this. I'm trying to be the first person to be with 1,000 guys in 24 hours. Now, this isn't an easy task, finding 1,000 people, so women, if you can lend me your husbands for the day, that would be amazing. Women.
Now, to me, I thought that was kind of wild, asking women to lend their husbands. But then I got to remember, people do have different kinks and stuff like that. So, I mean, depending on the situation, their wives could be into it.
Then, please can you lend me your husband's, son's, boyfriend's, nieces, nephews, because I am trying to break the world record.
I don't know why she said nieces.
For the amount of guys a girl has been with in 24 hours. I spent 14 consecutive hours getting ran through, and now I'm going to be doing 24 because I'm going to be going for the world record early February next year. I'm going to go for 1,000.
Now, when I read a lot of the comments, there were plenty of men in there that wanted to be next. They said, I want to be next. I applied. I went to your Twitter, etc., etc. No response, whatever. I don't know what the criteria are, but clearly she shouldn't have any problems finding the people that are want to do that. It just really, the question is it the people that she would really want to do it? Now, I did also notice some comments that people are blaming her relationship with some woman named Bonnie Blue. I'm not familiar too with her. They actually look kind of similar. Like if you see them side by side, they kind of look like there would be sisters, because I should have posted a picture of them in there. And when I went to her video, she is pretty out there too. And I didn't know that British were wild like that. Let's be real here. When you come to Britain, they always try to seem that they're more, posh and everything. But in this situation, it's downright raunchy. Go figure. So to transition from her, I want to go ahead and go into the other woman who was talking about the industry and being in there, and that was Danae Davis. Now, Danae is actually a pretty funny chick, and she's also an attractive woman also. You would think that she would be able to find other ways to gain money, fame, attention. But just like with Miss Lily, she went for the fast clout, and that fast clout ended up burning her to the point to where people now call her Charizard, Tamarasu, all kinds of stuff. Let's take a look at her.
I'm just gonna say, yes, he gave it to me. It's devastating to have to come on here and share that whenever I was 19 years old, Gucci third leg burned me with HSV2. And he told me that he was going to send me his test results, and he never did. And it saddens me to hear that he's done this to so many girls, and there's girls with so many similar stories to me, and they're so young as well. He is preying on the young, he is preying on the new, and I'm so sorry for not saying this 7 months ago. I was scared, and I was making so much money. I can't keep beating around the bush because you guys think I'm lying. And he can't ruin anybody else's life. I didn't know what he was known for. I didn't know who he was. I didn't do my research. And it is my fault.
Now, apparently there's a whole entire network of OF creators that sit there and collab with each other. And I'm assuming it must be very unregulated, considering that people are getting through with HVS2. My thing is, that's kind of the benefit of the industry in itself, because from what I understood, the more traditional aspects of it, testing was mandatory. You couldn't really get through with stuff like that, supposedly, but they had their own scandals. But when it comes to this situation right here, everybody felt sorry for Danae at first, right? We will say, man, that sucks. And Gucci, he was vilified for the longest time. And, in large, you not really see too much of him. After that came out, I think he went on to an Aiden Ross podcast showing some results, but he never showed the results of the HVS2, which was kind of sketchy in itself. But the empathy that a lot of people had for her kind of went away fast. And the reason it went away fast is because of videos like this.
Who's living her best life with a disease? The Danae Davis. Still getting hoes because niggas are fiends. The Danae Davis. The Danae Davis. The Danae Davis. The Danae Davis. Not Charizard.
I'm not gonna lie, she did kind of look like Charizard in that angle. But neither here or there right now, though. That is something to be said, though. When you sitting here bragging about still living her best life. What she meant by living her best life, you look at some of her other videos, she was even bragging about how she did the same thing as Lily did, is not to the same extreme after she was diagnosed with that. So I'm just like, why are we, this is why men in general are having more and more difficulties believing women tears. We're having issues with empathy because we'll see one thing where you're crying is sad, and understandably so. It's a life-changing situation. You have Lily actively making a choice that could get her the same burn that Danae has, but she continues to go ahead and move forward. And Danae seems like she really doesn't care and staying in that same industry. It's just, what's wrong with this world? What happened to shame? I miss the age of shame. I miss the fact whenever you had an STD, you barely want to even talk about it with anybody. And of course, you would talk about the people that you was going to have relations with or things of that nature, but you wouldn't go around bragging about still having relations with other men and women when you are burned for life. And with Lily, it's like one of those things, unless you're going to be a professional actress in that industry for the rest of your life, and when you're 23 years old, it's pretty hard to say that that's a choice you can actually make. It's just crazy to me. It's insane. And even Lily gave herself so much attention, because I didn't know who she was until this actually came out. But she has gave herself so much attention. No matter where she goes in the world, she's going to be known as the woman that had relations with 1,400 men, or attempted to, because it's 101 first, supposedly 300 today, and then in February I plan for 1,000. That's crazy work. And she even talks about, different things like that. She kind of makes a lot of points when it comes to those old school red pill, passport bros talking points. Because, you'll hear them a lot of times say, get you a woman that's really young, and because she's fresh and not damaged by the world, and she doesn't have as many bodies. And when you have somebody, look at Lily and Danae, that are young and beautiful, but out there that's running, getting ran through. And then, 5, 16 years later, they can all of a sudden come out and say they're born again Christian, or found Islam and Allah, and they want to try to take back what their bodies received, but you can never take back what your body received, especially when you're a woman, because let's be real here, there have been studies that have shown that what you receive stays inside you for years on end. So, I don't know. I can't empathize with them because they're actually making wrong choices. I just hope that young women make a much better choice. I brought up earlier in the video, Cooking with Kaya, and how she got to the bag. Cooking with Kaya got popular, and yes, she's getting hated on mainly by women. They're trying to shade her by saying her food isn't good. Then they try to lie on her saying she was underage. And then they're trying to shame men for liking a woman who actually likes to cook. And, Kaya just showed that, men are pretty much simple. You act like you're a joy to be around with and cook for us, we'll be happy and support. And men have support in droves. And a lot of the time you see men are supporting her just to make women mad. And because of this, Kaya has in a week gone to from I think 100,000 subscribers to over 1 million. She's over there cooking with I can't, his name DDG and things like that. She's on all kinds of other people's streams, and she's just living her life the happiest ever. And it's always the most interesting thing that one video could change your life for the better. And Kaya is to the point where I'm pretty sure she doesn't have to work a real job ever again, because of the support she has, because she chose to do something more positive instead of just using her body in a way that would damage her reputation and embarrass her. Kaya is a great example for women that should try to follow, compared to these women that try to get to the bag and they're going to be damaged for the rest of their lives. Anyways, you guys tell me what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Thank you.